have the journey map for those that are already in the UK. Right. I'm sure all of I won't spend too much on this because I think as I was coming on with the slides, I've explained most of these things. So as someone who is resident in the UK, say you still have a couple of, say following your student visa, right? Or maybe new in the UK as a dependent, or you have your post-study visa already, you can work, right? Or even if you're a student, I would say that you should segment. You should have a plan. And when you have a plan, and your plan is not broken down into periods, into smaller goals, right? It will be difficult for you to measure. It will be difficult for you to know where you are at every stage in time. So I would say you should take the first 6 months, right? When I even say first 6 months, you should have even started that before landing in the UK, but depending on your circumstances, right? So take the first 6 months. I'm sure a lot of people are in their first 6 months now because this is November. A lot of people came in. A lot of people came in September. Yeah, sorry about that. So okay, so yeah, I'll say that take the first 6 months if you haven't already done that before landing, to sit down, do an assessment of your skills, of your skill sets. What skills do you have, right? What skills do you have? What skills do you need to learn? What skills do you need to learn? What skills do you have? What skills do you need to learn? So take that first. So take the first 6 months. Yeah, sorry about that. That's part of the realities of that you experience when you move to the UK. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, take the first 6 months to try to acquire the necessary skills and start positioning yourself in that field that's fits your long-term goal or that will help you to achieve your long-term goal, right? And start trying to gain relevant experience. So depending on what stage you're, if you have been proactive and you've acquired those skills before the first 6 months, then your next 6 months use it to start so acquire skills, if you need to do a career transition, do that, and then after that, 6 months after that, start position yourself, try to get a job, work on your brand as well after you finish your transitioning or after you make up your mind. Once you've moved to the UK, you need to work on your brand to make it, optimized for the UK job market and for your target role, even if you've been in that role before. After you've worked on your brand, then try to gain relevant experience, try to get your first job without looking for sponsorship. Try to get your first job, right, to gain experience in that field, just to enter the market, and after you've gotten your first job, you might also be lucky that your first job might be a visa sponsorship job, right? However, if it's not a visa sponsorship job, still take the job and give yourself time to learn, to understand the market, and then of course optimize your brand even if you already have a job, such that recruiters are reaching out to you on a steady, and you're able to you have the opportunity to switch, you know to switch jobs. Myself, for instance, I haven't touched my LinkedIn or my CV in over a year now. However, the number of recruiters that reach out to me on a daily basis, right? If I wanted to switch my jobs, if I wanted to switch job right now, I don't think I would have any worry. But I don't think it would be a problem for me. And if let's say I needed something, like if the reason why I want to change my job is visa sponsorship, or the reason why I want to change my job is um I want the 20K increase in my current salary, right? It will be easy for me to negotiate with confidence, because first of all, I have a job, right? And I have a job, and second, the recruiters are flooding me. So I have options, I have alternatives, I have the upper hand, So I would say let your first job within your first 6 months, or within 6 to 12 months, and then after that, start strategically, like asking for visa sponsorship when recruiters reach out to you. And even in your current company as well, if they have a license, or if they have a license, a lot of companies too have gone ahead to obtain sponsorship license for people that they really want to keep. But the thing is, don't spend, if you get a job and you see that, okay, there's no green light for sponsorship in this job, you should start positioning yourself for sponsorship in other, I mean, you should start positioning yourself for other opportunities, right? Either higher salary or the visa sponsorship itself. Some companies will be quite clear that they are not sponsoring you from the start, and they don't, and you will know they don't have plans to. So start putting yourself together to change jobs, so long as recruiters are reaching out to you and you're getting interviews, you are more, you'll be more confident to switch, and then after that, I mean, just give yourself like 6 months. Give yourself, the moment you get a job, put it on your CV, put it out there, let recruiters start reaching out to you. And after that, you can switch to a job that is paying you higher, or switch to a job that is offering you sponsorship. However, you know that in your 18 to 24 months, like if your visa is 2 years, depending on number of visa, if you're dependents that have less than 2 years, you need to reschedule your own map to fit whatever it is. And then in that last couple of months, if it's post-study, if you're at the end of a post-study, then you need to start looking at other alternatives. Do you want to look at a startup visa, innovator visa, or other kind of visas as well, or any other alternatives that you want to explore? So that's for people who are within the UK. And the good thing about people that are within the UK is that they are within, right? They have that time, or they have that right to work, or that little time to be able to get a job, prove themselves in the job, and qualify for visa sponsorship. Because to be honest, a lot of employers, they don't want to sponsor people they have not worked with, or people that they don't know their capacity in terms of. A lot of employers will tell you. I've had people that they will tell you that they would tell people who are at the tail end of their student visa that they will give them sponsorship, but they need to apply for post-study visa first. Sometimes I wonder why they need to apply for post-study visa first if you're going to sponsor them. But I mean, that it is what it is. There are lots of things happening in the market. That's why you need to make sure that you are as highly skilled and highly sought after as possible. So what are the practical strategies to follow, either as residents or people that are outside the country? So this would address everybody, as well as people that are trying to get the job outside the country. If you're trying to get jobs in the UK, outside the country, the first thing you will need to do is the same as what I've been saying. You need to sit down and try to access whether that career path that you are in that you have a CV for has potential for sponsorship, using the steps I discussed earlier. To those career paths, or that career path of yours, does it have potential for sponsorship? Is it on those lists? Can you find jobs advertised for those roles? Having, if you do that and you are sure about that, and again, not only that, to practice that career, to practice that job or whatever, do you need a pin that you cannot get or that you don't have? Say for instance, you are a medical doctor, or you are a midwife, or you are a lawyer, or you are what other field? There are some fields that for you to practice, you can't just place your CV on job sites and get a job like that without taking the steps, right? Obtaining the pin, writing the exams that you need to write to get those jobs. So you need to do that research or that career and skill audit. After you do that, then you need to optimize your brand. You need to optimize your brand for the UK job market, for the target role. In the UK, if you are trying to get jobs in the UK, the CV that you have, where your first job was admin officer, the second one was finance officer, the third one was HR officer, the fourth role was maybe something else. That kind of CV would not help you to apply for jobs in the UK. In the UK, the UK markets or the UK employers, they prefer experts in a field to jack of all trades. I can do it all. I know that probably in another culture, in another country, the fact that you have that ability to do a lot of things might be an advantage to you. However, here, I would say you should keep all those your different skills for the different CVs you would have. If you're trying to get a job in the UK and you have a couple of potentials or a couple of fields they have experience in, I would say you should keep your different CVs for those opportunities. You can't put it all in one CV. They rather want to see someone who went from being an HR assistant or HR intern to being an HR assistant, to be an HR specialist, to be an HR business partner, to be an HR manager. That's the kind of, I'm not saying it's wrong to have something else in between and all that, but it has to be boldly convincing on your CV that you actually have you are dedicated to that career path, right? And you have the experience to do the job. I know that we are all what would I call it now? We are all we are all very strong. We can do a lot of things and we can do all of them really well. But that will not help your CV for the UK job market. You need to have a CV optimized for a role or at most two roles related to a field. That go hand in hand. So, and that's why, it's always also best to employ professionals to do this for you. And that's what we do for people. We help people to optimize their brand, to position themselves either from within the UK market and also from outside the UK job market. From outside the UK, sorry. So the next thing to do, or I would say trainings and upskilling comes before optimizing your brand. So you need to train and upskill. Just like I've told you, if you have done that audit, if you have done that audit of your skills and you find something missing, so you need an audit if you are in a wrong career path. So if you even identify that, the career path, audit, for instance, audit is a career path that has high potential, right? But within audit too, you need to check what is in audit job adverts for the UK. What are the things that they say you must be able to use? Is it caseware? What are the tools? What are the softwares? What are the apps that you must be able to use for the UK or that they usually use in the UK? Such that or like I mentioned earlier, I'm a finance person, but I don't know how to use Power BI at all, or I don't know how to use Excel at all. Should I take some time to learn Excel somewhere, such that when I land, I'm able to compete in the UK market for that role, even though I've been in that role since I was in my home country, right? So you need to train and upskill yourself. You need to identify what is missing. You need to fill that skill gap. And then after you've done that, if you are going through a career transition, then of course you need to optimize your brand after that as well. Optimize your career brand for the new your brand, right, for the new role. Network and position yourself. The UK job market, networking, like I said earlier too, is really important, right? You need to put yourself in communities where they share resources that are relevant, or you need to network with recruiters, you need to network with hiring managers, you need to connect with people in the companies that you have passion to work for or work in. Say for instance, I've had a couple of people reach out to me that okay, they want to work in the company I work, right? And either they need to be referred or they need to hear one or two things. I mean, not everybody will be able to help. Sometimes I don't even know what to advise because maybe it's been a while I did my own interview as well, or I don't even know who is interviewing them. But some people might actually have handy advice to give you. And if you reach out to about 10 people that you can see that, okay, this person looks like, okay, this person is a Nigerian, or I'm Indian. There's an Indian person I'm seeing that is working in this company and I want to work in this company, or I have an interview coming up. There's a client I worked with as well that got an interview. She's even still in Nigeria. She got an interview with one of the top sponsoring companies, for a role here. And she reached out to me. I've done interview prep with her, but she still reached out to me that do I know anybody? And I remember that I shared another client's testimony that got a job in that company, that got a job in that company. So I reached out to the person, to tell him if he's available to help me guide this person and all that. I mean, fortunately, by the time I told him about the lady has done the right thing as well. She has actually found him on LinkedIn herself and has actually reached out to him. She didn't know that I was also connected to him. So, and the guy was able to guide the lady, and she got the second stage of the interview. I mean, she passed that interview, the first stage. He guided her and she scaled the first stage. Now she's in the second stage of the interview. So that's the power of network. Like she reached out to me. I mean, I've worked on her brand. She's my client. She reached out to me. I linked her up with someone else, which is a network benefit from one side. She herself also networked directly with the same person. So the power of network, learn to reach out to people. They might have tips to help you. They might be able to link you up with other people too that might help you as well. So prepare for interview. Of course, you need to prepare for interviews. Because once you put your brand, I mean, like for most of my clients, once we are done working on their CV and LinkedIn, they move immediately to the interview stage, right? Because recruiters are already reaching out to them. They're already getting, job interviews. So you need to be ready, to be able to scale these interviews and land the jobs in the end. And in preparing for interviews, right, I would say that, study the job description, you know, for the job you are trying to apply for. If there's any requirements that's been said is essential, if there's any nomenclature or terms that they are using on their job description, use those terms to describe your experience as well. Use those nomenclatures to describe your experience as well. Be ready to give as many examples of times you demonstrated skills that are essential, or skills that you have on your CV, or skills that they have on their LinkedIn. The job description is a cheat sheet that would help you to be able to, predict questions that are possible for them to ask you in the interview. If you have about 10 lists of responsibilities on your job description, you need to be able to predict questions from these 10 responsibilities, predict possible questions, or provide examples of times you did these responsibilities in your previous roles. That's the bit I would give you about interview, as well as prepare questions as well for them. Prepare questions for your interviewers, at least 3 questions for each stages of interview. So moving on. Okay, so yes, we have a wide range of resources available for you to search to get visa sponsorship. We share visa sponsorship jobs on our LinkedIn page, RKY Careers. Please follow us, and it would also benefit you. You can also connect with these recruiters, or recruiters that we share that are offering sponsorship in your field, even if they are not offering sponsorship in the particular job we've shared. can follow them for future opportunities as well. So these two jobs I have on the left are an example of what I mentioned as the hidden job markets. So these are individual recruiters sharing job opportunities for companies. They don't even mention the company's name. So even if you go to the company website, you might not even know which companies they are. But these companies have engaged them to share these opportunities and help them secure, you know, to help them place people in these job opportunities. So as you can see, there's a keyword there. My client is offering sponsorship. And if you use sponsorship and change to post, like I advised earlier, this kind of opportunities come up on your field. So please follow our LinkedIn page as well as follow the strategies, because these are the strategies we employ as ourselves. It's not like we do anything special to find these jobs as well. So RKY Careers website. So we have a website which we launched at the beginning of last month, and on this website we have a job board where we share visa sponsorship jobs only. So if you can share that with people that you know are looking for visa sponsorship jobs. Like I told you, it's not easy to find these jobs and filter them, and share with you on this platform. However, because we are very dedicated to making your journey in the UK markets very smooth, we've continued to find more ways for you to find more ways to provide services to help you. This is absolutely free. There are lots of visa sponsorship job boards I've seen that you have to subscribe monthly to be able to have access to those jobs, or where you have to, maybe pay to apply to jobs. But that's absolutely free. Also, I think we are close to the end of the program. So about us, who is RKY Careers? We are a UK-based tech-driven company. Like I've said from the beginning, the objective of this is to help you navigate the job market, land your desired jobs, help you rise above, above the minimum or whatever it is, and launch a successful career, either as a professional or international graduates in the UK. How do we help people, or how do we support people? Through our services. We optimize CV for people. We help people with their LinkedIn. We help people to prepare for interviews. We have career advisory consultations. We help people with personal statements, and we have different combos and packages. And we also have trainings as well, which we started last month. So at the moment, we are running Excel trainings, and we also have the UK compliance training as well coming up. So if you're interested in going into compliance, if you're interested in like applying for jobs like KYC jobs, compliance jobs, financial crime, sanctions, that boot camp is the best. I mean, is the best thing for you. So here are a couple of success stories, that we have, or that I mean, just 3 out of the many that we had in the last month. Like I said, we help people who are trying to get jobs from Nigeria. We help people who are trying to get, from different parts of the world, not only Nigeria, right? We help people who are in India as well as other countries. And we also help people who are already in the UK and trying to get jobs in the UK, right? So, like a lot of, if you come to me and say, I'm looking for visa sponsorship job, I don't know how I can't directly say I help people to get visa sponsorship jobs. However, a lot of people that have used our services have got visa sponsorship jobs. Visa sponsorship is not a service itself. It's a benefit that comes with a job offer, right? Or with a job. So yeah, and yes, like I said, we offer training programs, that help you to advance your career, advance and grow in your career.